Who doesn't love a good twist? It's usually the best thing about seeing a movie, right? They take the story in a sudden new direction, they keep you on the edge of your seat, and most importantly, they add up perfectly with what's happened in the story. And you don't even notice it coming. The question is, what plot twist should be regarded as the best? Stay with us as we take some sudden turns of our own by listing off the top 10 movie plot twists ever. Let's see if any of your favorites are here. Number 10, Knives Out, the twist within a twist of Harlan's death. Rian Johnson's twist on the traditional whodunit storyline is a masterful triumph. Not only are we led to believe that we've actually seen the truth of a murder mystery from the beginning, but the plot then thickens. Marta, nurse to wealthy and elderly novelist Harlan Thrombly, believes she's killed her employer by accidentally mixing up his medications and giving him a lethal dose. Thrombly, being an experienced writer in murder mystery, tells a scared Marta how to get away with it, knowing her to be pure of heart. In a great many twists and turns, we find that Marta wasn't actually responsible for Harlan's death, and that the entire scenario was planned by his grandson, Ransom, who was bitter about not receiving the old man's money in the event of his death. His only answer was to instead frame his grandfather's murder around Marta, the one set to receive all of the family's inheritance. A twist within a twist. Does it get much better? Number 9, The Game. It was all a birthday present. Ever wanted to think about devoting your life to your work and business? Make sure you watch The Game. You'll quickly spin around and head in the opposite direction. Michael Douglas's workaholic character, Nicholas Von Orton, is gifted with a ticket for a game that is said to change his life by his brother Conrad, played by Sean Penn. Soon after, Nicholas finds his life turned upside down as everything's taken from him one by one and he's thrown into terrible danger. Upon reaching the ending, a traumatized Nicholas ends up killing his brother before plunging to his own death. However, that isn't the dreary ending we expect. It turns out the events of the film were completely orchestrated and Conrad was behind the whole thing, in a bid to make sure his brother doesn't end up like their father who killed himself. It was literally a game of sorts, a real class act in carrying a strong twist to the narrative, whilst also carrying an even stronger message on how to treat life. Number 8, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The Fate of Sharon Tate. Tarantino maybe isn't world-renowned for plot twists exactly, but this is quite the imaginary twist on real life that'll have viewers punching the air. We're taken to the 1960s, where hippies are all the rage, and we get to follow Leonardo DiCaprio's actor Rick Dalton and his trusty stuntman Cliff Booth, played by Brad Pitt, as they try to navigate their careers in Hollywood while trying to deal with high and mighty hippies and the idea of living next door to director Roman Polanski and his wife Sharon Tate. As we head into the third act, it appears that we're going to witness 4 members of the Charles Manson's cult carry out the infamous murders of a pregnant Sharon Tate and her friends. Thankfully, that isn't how things fly in Tarantino's take on the events of that night. After Dalton angrily, yet humorously, tells the psychos to leave his street, they decide to instead turn their attention to the famed actor and kill him instead of Tate. From there, one family member ditches them with the car, and Dalton, Booth, and Booth's dog end up giving the Manson family what they deserve, in true Tarantino fashion. The story leaves Sharon Tate and her friends alive and well, with the Manson family being slaughtered instead. It's sad, reflecting the real events of that particular evening, but Tarantino's middle finger to it and the wrongdoers behind it is sure to be legendary in this major twist on a real-life tragedy. Number 7, Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. Luke Skywalker's heritage. Yeah, it's probably one of the most well-known twists in movie history, but being in a movie theater and witnessing it firsthand, what a pleasure. The Empire Strikes Back shows Darth Vader and the Galactic Empire tightening their grip on the Rebel Alliance. The movie features Han Solo, Princess Leia, and the gang off in hiding while Luke Skywalker ventures to Dagobah to be trained by Yoda as a Jedi Knight. After Han Solo is captured on Bespin, and it looks like the jig is up for Leia, Chewie, and the droids, Luke arrives in the nick of time and finds himself in a lightsaber duel with Vader himself. From there, after Luke loses a hand no less, the young Jedi apprentice is told the painful truth. Vader didn't kill Luke's father as Obi-Wan had told him. Vader is Luke's father. A real treat of a twist for fans of the Star Wars world, and a real conflict of interest to lead into the proposed third movie, Return of the Jedi. Number 6, Prisoners: The Real Culprit. A dark movie with an even darker twist. If you've been brave enough to make it to the end, then you know how big of a twist this is. When 2 young girls from 2 families go missing on Thanksgiving, a mentally stunted young man is in the frame, with one of the fathers, played by Hugh Jackman, taking the law into his own hands in order to get this main suspect to confess to where his daughter is. As it turns out, the main suspect's actually a previous abductee of a woman, Holly, who until this point seemed completely out of the frame. As we learn more about her child snatching over the years, a lot of other plot points from the movie start to make sense, and we're given a very disturbing twist in the story that's sure to leave you with chills long after the credits. Number 5. Fight Club, Tyler's True Identity. Another very well-known entry in the pantheon of movie twists. It's trippy, it's strange, and everyone knows and loves it. An unnamed narrator, played by Edward Norton, winds up becoming friends with this much cooler Tyler Durden, played by Brad Pitt. The two then decide to open an all-out fight club that ends up becoming quite the movement, and from there, chaos ensues. What we learn later on is that our unnamed narrator, also unreliable it turns out, suffers from dissociative identity disorder. He and Tyler are one and the same, both existing in our narrator's mind. Again, a very weird twist in a very strange story with some very strange characters. It's a lovable head-scratcher for sure. Number 4. Psycho, The Truth About Mother. A truly classic Alfred Hitchcock flick with arguably one of the first real major plot twists in movie history. Marion Crane runs away with a large amount of cash and winds up stopping at the Bates Motel for the night. From there, she's murdered by the deranged mother of the sweet, softly spoken, yet unusual, hotel owner Norman Bates. From her murder, Norman finds himself struggling to cover up his mother's act, which leads to more bloody activities with Norman in the middle of it all. Upon reaching the finish line of the movie, we find that Mother really is the culprit behind the murders throughout the story. That is, the mother in Norman's head. We discover that Norman killed his mother years earlier and has been suffering from a split personality disorder ever since, in which he becomes his mother and uses her exaggerated will to commit murders. A twist that still stands tall against movies that are released today. Number 3. Gone Girl, Amy's Disappearance. A disturbing twist that actually doesn't have you waiting until the final section of the movie to get answers. Writer Nick Dunn, played by Ben Affleck, wakes up one morning to find that his wife Amy, played by Rosamund Pike, is missing. As Nick becomes privy to Amy's somewhat secret life and the truth about the cracks in their marriage emerge, Nick quickly becomes the prime suspect for something sinister. Alas, about halfway into the movie, Nick, and we the viewers, discover Amy is alive and well. She's faked her own death to get revenge on her cheating husband, who doesn't satisfy her marital expectations any longer. We unearth how unhinged she actually is, and also go on to discover that Nick wasn't the first to be caught in Amy's psychotic web. Amy does, however, return home after framing an ex-boyfriend for kidnapping her, and has Nick's semen artificially inseminated into her to ensure that he doesn't reveal the truth of what happened, while also staying with her. Twisted in terms of the story and also our leading lady. Number 2. Citizen Kane, The Truth Behind Rosebud. Considered one of the best movies of all time, this has a pretty memorable twist, though one with a softer tone than most. Directed by and starring Orson Welles, we open on the deathbed of fictional newspaper tycoon Charles Foster Kane, who utters his last word, Rosebud. This then sends a journalist on a mission to chronicle the life of the magnate in the hope of uncovering the meaning behind the man's final word. As the movie fishes through the character's eventful rise to power, we soon discover the reasoning for his final word when we clasp our eyes on his childhood item being burnt. It's the name of Kane's sled from when he was a young boy. Though the twist isn't sinister or as juicy as most may have thought, it shows that this power-mad mogul did have a softer side and sentiment about his younger years when he had next to nothing. A really touching twist in a brilliant and timeless classic. Number 1. Shutter Island. Prepare to be disturbed as you step into another DiCaprio flick with one hell of a twist. U.S. Marshal Teddy Daniels, played by DiCaprio, and his new partner Chuck All, played by Mark Ruffalo, are tasked with tracking down an escaped mental patient, Rachel Solando, who's responsible for the murder of 3 children. Where the case takes him is sure to send chills up your spine. Believing he's about to crack the case of what's happened, Teddy finds out the heartbreaking and scary truth. His name is actually Andrew Latis, and he's in prison for murdering his wife after she drowned their 3 children. Her name? Rachel, of course. The events of the case are all an act in the hope of curing him of his insanity. A really sad ending, but one that no one will have seen coming for sure. As mentioned earlier, who doesn't just love a good twist? Over the history of cinema, we've been treated to some real unexpected left turns, including the 10 we've given you, and not to forget the thousands of others out there. Did any of your favorites make the list? What's your personal favorite movie twist? We're all ears. Let us know in the comments section below. By the way, if we've ruined any plots for you moviegoers, yeah, maybe a spoiler disclaimer would help next time. Sorry.